In the video above this one, there was a step where the guy went from this V out equation here on over to this bottom equation down here. And I just wanted to talk y'all through how do we get that. So we're going to start out with V out equals V in times the R2 over R2 plus R1. So this is our starting point. And our goal is to get it to look something like this. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the denominator here and we're going to multiply the denominator across the equals. So we end up with R2 plus R1 times V out equals V in times R2. So we just multiplied the denominator on out, scoot it on over. Now we're going to use the distributive law and we're going to let the V out, output voltage there, V out, distribute across the parentheses. So we'll get R2 V out. Well, let's write the V out first. So let's say it's V out times R2. So we'll say it's V out times R2 plus V out times R1 equals V in times R2. Now, I want to gather all the terms that have an R2 in them over here. So this V out R2, I'm going to subtract it back across the equal sign, and it's going to turn up over here on the right-hand side as negative. So we'll have V out R1 left by itself equals V in times R2 minus V out times R2. So now that both these terms have an R2 in them, we're able to factor that R2 out. So we're going to factor out the R2. We'll get V out R1 equals, it's going to be open parentheses, V in minus V out times an R2. And now V in times minus V out, that's being multiplied to R2. When you want to undo a multiplication, you divide it back across. So we'll get V out times R1 divided by V in minus V out equals R2. And we're going to rewrite this a little bit nicer. This R1 here, we can kind of just write it off to the side. Multiplying on the top is the same as multiplying out to the side of a fraction. So we can say V out over V in minus V out times R1 is equal to R2. And if we check that equation here against our starting equation, so we get R2 equals R1 times V out over V in minus V out. So we have V out over V in minus V out times an R1, and that's equals R2. So this is the same as this, this step down here that the initial statement became. And this little work here is basically, so multiply across, distribute, pull the terms back to the same side that have R2s, factor the R2 out, divide by the stuff that's not the R2, and then that gets you, that's basically what they did to generate that equation.